Welcome to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. This is the Christmas edition. We're on a different day, got lots to talk about. What did you get for Christmas? Let's talk about all that next. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here. And it's What's in My Drawers. Why? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats. And it's all about what's in my shop over here this time. We've kind of changed it up because I got to show you something that I got for Christmas. And what we talk about here is golf club repairs, golf club fittings, and golf club reviews. Also, your scores can go low. And let's just get right into it. Not a lot of golf to talk about as far as tournament action goes. There's a lot out there about rumor control and all that other stuff. We're not here for that. This is a holiday episode. This is all about good stuff. So, as usual, we get to talk about the stuff we did. I was a busy little elf. Mrs. McGolf and I were getting a lot of stuff accomplished. In fact, we just no more than just hit the start button here. And a young man whose nickname is Bogey, we fit him for wedges, told him they were done, and his birthday is actually tomorrow. So we got him some Christmas/birthday wedges accomplished, and they were some Mizuno T24s in two different grinds and using a Nippon shaft. And for as young as he is, he was very, very articulate in what he was looking for, and it turned out to be a very, very good build. All right, so there's one, and I do have a set. I have a 3-wood, an A wedge, and a sand wedge sitting on the rack. No, I just finished them. I got one grip on. I need 2 more grips, and I have nothing for the entire year left over. Although the entire year is a grand total of about 3 days. So here we go. So the first one. This was a redo. These are Mizunos, obviously some hot metals, and this was from a chiropractor up north that actually hits the ball very good. Was having a problem with the poles, and he had too soft a shaft, maybe a little too much offset, that kind of thing. And so he opted for a reshaft of his current gear. And of course, as you can tell by the ferrules, that he's an Ohio State fan. And he's got these. So we redid the set, and you can't tell, but those are some Nippon Modus, and they were a little stiffer profile so that it would release a little bit more into the ball form instead of kicking. Because he was a smoother swinger, the previous guy had him in a much softer shaft, and it was kicking too early, and it was kicking shut, and he was hitting these tremendous hooks. And so we get him into a profile literally of the same weight, but it was a profile that was a little bit more for the late releaser, and all of a sudden the flight started coming around, and that's what we did. Now, we also found out that he liked a club with a lot less offset, and that really, really did the trick, but he didn't want to go to that point, so this is what we got. We also settled on some Star Grips. When he was fitting, he got a hold of the Star Grips, and he got the gray Star Grips. So if you get the gray into the steel, into the scarlet and gray, and into the silver, a very neutral tone color, but they look really, really good. Now, as far as his wife is concerned, this was a husband-wife team, and as you can see, they're up here. They're up over here. This is her set right up in here, but it starts off with some Callaway Big Berthas in the not the Revas, but the Big Berthas, and then we got into some Srixon ZX4s and some Cleveland wedges that tended to go. That combination is actually very, very nice. And then and we used some Acra I series in the 50-gram range. The weight was a big thing for her. And so there's what it looks like all together. Now these are the stock shafts on the left, and the clubs. Those are accent shafts in the 40-gram, I believe. And if you see, she's also a Star Grip fan also, and using the same kind, only bigger, right? So now she is a person that she's very active. a workout person and just took up golf about a year and a half ago. And she was playing with lady stuff. And what was happening was she was getting to the point where the way she wasn't over swinging it, but the way that she was releasing into the ball again was very, very, very strong. And she was finishing very, very, very low. And so we worked with her, and this is the part of the fitting where if you get a guy that knows enough about the swing to be dangerous, that's me, that we got her swinging through, and she actually picked up about 3 or 4 mile an hour just because the muscle groups that you needed to work were doing that. And once I started talking muscle groups, she understood exactly what was going on, started releasing up and through, and all of a sudden it's a different ball flight. And because of that, we needed these different shafts that was going on. So instead of piecemealing it, we ended up with a fitted set for her. And that turned out really, really well as well. Now in the putter arena, we did find a putter that worked for her very well, but we were able to take what she had, and I believe we bent it. All right, the last one is another redo. This is a redo of some Mizunos, obviously, the 243s. The 245s are coming out very, very shortly. And this is another chiropractor in Cincinnati, Kentucky region. And I'm sorry, no, that's not. It's a different guy. This is a dude from Mason. And he got fit and liked these heads, but the shaft he was giving him didn't quite work. And I was like, well, okay. So he wanted to say it. Well, I have them here to test with. And it was funny, he had some Acro shafts, but they just virtually did not work. So he showed me what he had. I let him hit his. I put one together with the TZ shafts in it. It's hard to read here, but those are the TZ shafts, and it was night and day different.
It was Jay Kaufman, not from Mason. He's the funeral guy.
Oh, okay. He's not the funeral guy. I got too many sets confused. So anyway, it was a night and day. I wish I would have made the video of this part of it, but we had his, and I bent it correctly with mine bent correctly, and just the difference of the shaft was a night and day production difference. So when they say the shaft is the engine of the club, they're absolutely incorrect. It's the transmission. So how do you get your power down to meet that rubber of the road? And that was important in this particular instance. So he did very, very, very well. Then we finished him off with some 2G black grips. And it's been a while since I've done those. Those things are massively sticky. Holy cow, are they sticky? And they've been sitting in the shop for 2 or 3 days and still sticky. Like good gravy. These things are great. So if you're looking for something that was massively sticky without a whole bunch of texture per se, I'd give the 2Gs a shot. All righty, now on to some more fun stuff. So I told you last week that I got a griddle. I got a griddle as a Christmas gift from Mrs. McGolf, and we have been absolutely fortunate to have family here for the last 3 or 4 days. Both my sisters, their significant others, and or their husbands. I got nieces and nephews. I got a niece looking at me. She's right here wanting to learn, and a nephew out there, plus another niece and a new, I guess you call him a nephew-in-law. So we've had a great time with the family, and I'm thankful that they're all here. And my dad living next door, he's incredibly grateful for it as well. I know for a fact that he is. So anyway, when you get family, you gotta cook, right? You gotta cook. And so we had Christmas meal. Well, wait a minute, I gotta go back. Before that, we were testing out the griddle, and this is where I had Bob's help. And the second meal I put on there were Philly cheesesteaks. I told you I was going to do it. I did it. There they are. So you get to see the onions in the background. You get to see the Philly cheesesteak, or the steak part of it, just starting to get cooked up in that. And I'm here to tell you, it was awesome, right? Hopefully all you guys got a bunch of leftovers of watching this, because it's going to make you hungry. There's the sandwich. And for a guy who don't like green peppers, I'll eat green peppers in this thing. It was really, really good. All right, now back to the food. And so my littlest sister demanded that she would cook. And me being lazy in that arena, I said, sure, go ahead and knock yourself out. And somehow I got wrapped into cooking a ham while she cooked a turkey. So no problem. I'm cooking a ham. There it is. Spiral round ham with the glazing on it. First time I ever done one in a smoker. And the whole intention here is just to heat it up, right? And we made the glaze and we just kept glazing it, and it worked out really, really, really well. To the point is, my niece is here. She's nodding her head that it was really good. And there's our layout. As you can see, the turkey, the stuffing, deviled eggs, some noodles, some rolls, the traditional stuff. And then you get to see, here we are sitting in the McGolf shop, getting ready to dig in. And there we are. That's all of it right there, with the dad at the head of the table, as it should be. Very cool. All right, so not to be outdone, we said, well, we did all this really cool cooking, and I want to do something for them before two of them left. So I made breakfast. So I did some bacon and some sausage on the grill, and we did pancakes. First time doing pancakes on this thing, and that's what we look like right there. Turned out pretty good. I was really quite surprised. They were very thick pancakes, the way most people would like them to be. All right, and so there we go. All righty, so there we are. I got to tell you all mine now. I'll get it kicked off. I got two things I want to tell you. Number one is, and this is the more important of the two, is that in, what is this? The 26th. So in about 5 days, there will be my 40th wedding anniversary. 40th wedding anniversary with Mrs. McGolf. And we're going to be on the Bourbon Trail supporting that particular endeavor. No, we're going to be, it's the 40th anniversary. I can't believe it's been 40 years, and I wouldn't dream of it being with anybody else. So, Charlie, I know you're watching. This is Macallan number 1. I've had it for a special occasion. This is it. And my brother-in-law, he's got a little bit too, so we're celebrating his family. So there you go, Miss McGolf. Love you. All right. Next, what'd we get for Christmas? What'd we get for Christmas? So I'm sitting weird like this because this is what I got for Christmas. All right. You guys know that I got the other one. There's going to be a light on it. Let's see. See that one with the light on it? That was old Tom Morris by himself, standing on one of his courses. This one here, that's young and old Tom standing there getting their picture taken after he's won an Open, I'm sure, of some variety. And what it is that it's a group. If you want to see something more of this, it's called They Played in Color, right? And that's how the website, you look up They Played in Color. And what he does is he takes the old black and whites, and I went back because I've got several history books, and I found that is actually the cover to Tommy's Story, the movie that they made, Tommy's Honor, this one, and that's the cover of the book, and it's in black and white, and there's some poor coloring in there too, but it's awful. Anyway, he's gone out and found some Hagen stuff, some Bobby Jones stuff, some Scotland stuff, some old 1920s Ryder Cup stuff, and taken the time. And this is not just something you just punch a button and go. Apparently, these different grays and blacks and whites and the combinations tell you about the different colors. So if you look in this right there, so in that, young Tom is wearing a brown tweed, where old Tom is wearing a gray, and the texture of the suit pops out so dramatically. It's hard not to see it. So they do a very, very good job. There's several hundred hours in tuning this up. Now, if you don't like the golf stuff, he's doing a lot with baseball and football. A lot of the original times with the three-fingered gloves, and Babe Ruth, the Yankees. If you go back and look at it, some Negro League stuff. I mean, some really impressive history is being done. He's been doing some football for college football mostly, but he's got some older He did a Green Bay one of I think it was during the Tundra. There's a black and white of a guy from the Packers, and there's a before and after. It's amazing. But they got them before they were using helmets. They have some Army Navy games that were impressive. So if you like that, they played in color. Okay. So that's the reason why I'm sitting like this. The next thing I got, and this is too damn funny, is Blue Tees. It's a rangefinder. And I know Bob and Penny are going, oh my God, he's got another rangefinder to lose. And they would not be wrong. This is my fourth one in is about so many years. But the Blue Tees is up and coming. Turns out I know somebody that's in the upper end of it. Let's see if I can get you to see in there. Let's see yeah, you can almost see it. There's talks about golf. Anyway, it has slope. I like the red lettering because when you go to look at it in the red lettering, you can, even during the day, you can see the red. Some of them have the black lettering, and when you're looking into the shade, you can't quite pick it up. So I like this one. It's got a little magnet. I've already taken everything I can do magnetically, and it's going to go back into the pouch, not anywhere I put it before. All right, so those are the two biggest ones. And the last one I've got is kind of golf related, and we got this together, but I got a piece of luggage with my name on it. Well, with the business on it. Mrs. McGolf and I both got these are they go in the overhead baggage for quick trips, and they're made by Club Glove. And Club Glove, as you know, that's the number one bag for those guys on tour. Although I prefer the Sun Mountain one for the ease of rolling. However, these things are basically bulletproof and very, very nice. And with the McGolf label on it, it's not going to be, nobody's going to be going, oh, hey, I think I'll take that one because, I'm McGolf. No. And so it was a good thing. So that's what it was for me. So let's get talking to you guys. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Matt says he shot a 74-77 his last two rounds. Santa brought him some cold weather jeans and more Chrome Soft True Viz. Heading to the daughter's b-ball game. So he's going to be off, maybe listening to it a little bit later. Thank you, Matt. Okay. John Lamb, what do you say, man? Ooh, I do like the new I like the logo. The golf club with a hat on. Fooled Santa again. Golf practice mat will fit perfectly on the back deck to smack them into the net. A few golf trinkets, dig them up sticks, ball markers, the usual. Okay, very cool. Hey, nothing wrong with being able to hit stuff in there. Very cool. Danny Johnson's with us. He got a Versa putter. Nice. Nicely done. Oh, John's in his bag. He's got a Tour Edge driver. That's not bad. The Tour Edge 4-wood hybrid. T300s from the 2021 era. TaylorMade high toe. I like high toes. I kind of do. And a Seymour putter. Okay. And Lampkin arthritic grips. Jumbo Max medium on the drive. There you go. That not a bad setup, dude. Not a bad setup whatsoever. Mr. Anderson, thank you so very much for staying up late with us, even the day after Christmas. Hope your trip was good and Christmas was good with family time. See you in the new year. Same to you, sir. Appreciate it. Yep. So our trip is going to be, we're going what they call the Bourbon Trail. And the Bourbon Trail goes anywhere from the Louisville, I think is where it starts, and it comes back towards the east. Oh, I'm going to say at least an hour or two, and it visits all the distilleries. It's akin to going on a distillery trip if you're going to Scotland and you wanted to see where they were making all the different scotches. It's akin to that. Well, this place has got what they call a passport that has all the listings of all the distilleries. Of course, we're going to get that, and that'll be the idea to try and knock them off. Well, not all in one trip, though. So we've got 6 that we're going to stop in, places we're going to be, and some video that we're going to shoot. So it ought to be a lot of fun. Emmanuel, what do you say, sir? The rest of Hello, Rum Jim, the rest of my golf gearheads here. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Wish everyone a very happy 2024, and I do the same. Maybe we get back next week. We'll talk about goals. I guess that'll be the next thing. And he picked up some Buffalo Trace for Christmas. Well done, sir. Pretty good. And so while we're talking about this and all their stuff are going, the question is, and Mrs. McGolf asked, because we will be, you know, the first is a Monday. Our anniversary is the 31st. And as I've told her several times before, she is the best tax break I have ever been able to obtain. Whether or not we want to do one on these Mondays or do we like these Tuesdays, which one fits better for you? Which one would you rather see? Let us know down below. All right. Buffalo Trace. He's going to be enjoying a glass during the event. All right. Wedge project is coming along nicely. Well, very cool. You got to learn how to fly them and distance them. That's the way to do it. John Cherry from Myrtle Beach. Hope everyone has had a Merry Christmas, and so do you. Same to you, sir. There's Krister. Krister's in there, and he's in a snowy Sweden. And Merry Christmas. I got to watch Krister. He's been working out, as you can tell. He's been taking lessons, and we got to see the one. He's throwing it out there at 290, 300. He's killing it. I saw you. Was that kind of a long drive swing where that front foot takes off on you? But it was a good straight ball. So well done, man. Jack King, a cool and wet Lombard. Well, you know what? As much as I hate to, as much as I hate to tell you this, but it's been in like the high 50s here. Now it's supposed to have rained for the last 3 days, and it's only been raining off and on, so it's not been real bad. The niece and nephews and the family have been driving around in the golf carts in the back, and so she's getting ready to get her learner's permit, and so we've been letting her practice. Jay Kaufman, there you go. That was one of yours, dude. Sorry, let's see right here. Let's go back. There they are. There they are. So, hello. Hopefully, you're enjoying Florida very much. Scott Gordon, what do you say, sir? Hope everybody has a great Christmas. Had a great Christmas. We did, and I thank you very much for that wish. Let me get to the top. There's Charlie. How you doing, buddy? I don't know if you got to see it. McAllen, number 1. All righty. Bill Nauman received a perfect putting mat for Christmas. Now, there you go. I looked at that one pretty hard, and because I've got a mat here, but I like that perfect putting mat because of all the extra stuff that's on it. You can really, I mean, if you take it to heart, I bet you end up being one hell of a putter by, the start of the season. John Lamb, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you all managed to get through Santa's magic to make all your dreams and wishes come true. Thank you, John. Same to you, sir. And there's Mrs. McGolf. So we got to tell her whether or not we got to get back in time, or do we want to do it again on another Tuesday or something along that nature. Charlie says, great rounds to Matt. Yep. Oh, he was. She didn't get all the golf stuff like I did, but yeah. John Cherry, lab putters. What's the difference between the different shafts? Tia, Acra, BG Stability, LA Golf. Which one would you recommend for an arm lock putter? Well, so all the ones that you're mentioning here, John, are basically all low torque shafts. All right. The LA Golf is extraordinarily low. The BGT started the whole thing. That's a known quantity, to be sure. Acra is what I have in my lab putter, and I'm very happy with it. And it is a low torque shaft. Then this the TPF is the, I forget what the name of it, but it's a special made. They're all low torque shafts. Okay. It's all about, at this particular point, it's an extra cost in a lab putter to be sure. And then it's all about weight, the weight availability, and whether or not you want it to be because they're not all the same weight. Like the BGT, I know for a fact in the Pro model is 105 versus the other one is 120. I'm not sure the Acura was not a 120 either. I believe the Lab Golf is, and I don't know what the TPF is. So I would ask which one that is. So if you're looking for just a skosh more weight, I would look at the weights to see what it is. The second one, and I know it's kind of weird, but is the colors, right? Do you want a black shaft or a colored shaft or something along that lines? So you would take into that count. Now, personally, from a quality control perspective, I would go between Acura or BGT. I only say this because I know just enough about LA Golf to be dangerous, and I know absolutely nothing about TPF, so I can't recommend them in such a fashion. If what I hear about them is true, then their quality control should be very, very good as well. So, but as far as I would check the price, I don't think you can go wrong with any of them based on what they're supposed to do and see what you want to do. Because arm lock putting, I don't, it's you want zero torque in any kind of the putting part of it, particularly with a lab golf putter, with a lab putter. So I don't think you go wrong with any of them. All righty, man, nice rounds. Yep. And I mean, I tell you what, Matt won't be looking her in the eye for very long, and she's in the same low teens category as well. When she gets in that driving area, she'll be taller than Matt. All righty. Phil K, man, how you doing, buddy? Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas from Austin. Santa gave me a new Sun Mountain bag. Nicely done. Very good for you, sir. We like that. And there's Jay. Jay's was the he's the guy I was talking about with the TZ shafts. And heck of a player. All righty. There yeah, I know, right? I'm telling you, man, these grills, man, it's hard to do something bad on them, I think. Mr. Nauman got the clapping. Thank you, sir. Did you throw any bacon on it? Yes, on the griddle. I've cooked. That's how I seasoned it initially, and it was really, really good stuff. And here for today, we put on, oh geez, I bet I put on 3 pounds of bacon and a whole tray of sausages, and sorry, and all that stuff is all gone. It cooks bacon really good. It's crazy. It stays out nice and flat, and the flavor on it's better than if you're cooking the pan upstairs. Congratulations on the 40th. Thank you. I think we're going to set a record going forward. Congratulations from Jay. Brian Pettit, how you doing, sir? Thank you very much. Manuel says that's terrific. Thank you again. Robin's answering back. There's Dan. How you doing, buddy? He's saying congratulations. Thank you very much. You guys need to tell me where you want to go with this. You want to do it on a Monday or Tuesday next week as well. John, 4th anniversaries. Wow, kudos and hope wishes many more. Yep, so do we. Oh, this itchy nose thing. There's my sister. She's sitting about 10 foot outside this door, putting that on. So that's pretty good. Thank you. All right. Yep, and there she's talking about the bacon. There we go. Golf Dog. Now there's a heck of a name. Merry Christmas from Stan and De Leon Springs. Well, thank you, Stan. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. And tell your friends. Let's get some more folks on here. Last one here, or not last one, but You like the red because it reminds you of rigging. Yes. Yes. I was just telling somebody about that. You're up front. You were used to that stuff. I was not. And when they did that, we went on that. I got called up forward to be a tracker. And they said, here you go, do it, because I was an interim supervisor. They said, we need you to go forward and be the tracker. I'm like, oh, okay. And I got up there and it's all dark and I'm feeling around and there's the red lights and I'm barely able to see anything. And I got another guy there who's another quartermaster. And I was like, what am I supposed to be doing here? And he goes, just follow my lead. I'm like, okay. So I followed his lead for a whole shift and got the hang of what we were doing. And then the captain goes, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I'd much rather be in the engine room where it's hot and lit. And he goes, well, I'll see you on another shift then. I'm like, oh my God. So I got to do that several more times, but it's a different thing up front, bud. Different thing. All righty. Got ping 710s. Nice. Yeah, Mrs. Claus did you a solid right there. Good job. As I forgot, I'm sure I'm not told, but please like, subscribe, hit that bell down there so we can get more of this information out to the folks, and so that the channel gets to survive some more. All right, swing it. Yep, look at that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, there you go, sir. Thank you. Brent, what do you say, bud? Got a grip saver, a shaft puller. Well, look at you go, and a 48-inch drill. Couldn't be happier. Nice. Nicely done. Those are some important things. That shaft puller, you're going to use that thing you're going to use that quite a bit. I can feel it. The 48-inch drill bit, that you won't use it very often, but when you need it, it will be the most handy thing you've ever had in your life. That thing is going to be awesome. Well done. Drew Brown, how are you, sir? Merry Christmas to you and your family. Semper Fi. There you go, sir. Thank you very much. Hoorah. Exploring the Philippines. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas from him to all. As far as a Christmas present, I received a white golf shirt, which I wanted and did not have. Well, that's what you want, man. Get the stuff that you wanted. Okay. Scott got a multi putter pack, heavy shaft and head. Been a while since I assembled clubs. Will be fun. Well, cool. Well, if you're looking for any, I got the library. I can't show you up in here. Normally, I point up in here and there's a library, but if we go back in there, it's all about assembling clubs. And for a putter, it's not nearly as technically as much as like doing an iron or whatever, but the same technique still applies for the abrading, the application of the epoxy, the wiping it down to make it look good, getting the right loft, lie, and length, and then having that grip. Putters, for having that grip straight, is super, super duper important. Okay, that's the part you want to get to. Now, in that one, putting on a putter grip, if you've got like a little torpedo level, here's a pro tip. If you get like a torpedo level, and this is this is your putter, and this is the face of the putter, you take your torpedo level and you put it on there, put a rubber band around it, and just put it on there. And then when you put it in your jig and you get it so that bubble aligns, then you're squared up, and then you can just put your putter grip on, and then you can lay that same torpedo level here and make sure it's on straight. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. All righty. Jody Rise. Belated Merry Christmas to all. What are your guys' holy grail golf clubs, old or new? I always wanted a set of the Wood Brothers Cool Cats. Now, Jody, you are going way back, man. Wood Brothers that was a good set of clubs in the day. And forged irons with the cork-filled persimmon woods. Yeah. Wood Bros, man, those guys, they had it going on. They were, I don't know, what would we call them? Will they be the Titleist of the day of that era? Probably. That's probably a good one. That was a good one. So, Holy Grail of golf clubs. Ah, that'd be a tough one. That would be a tough one. So for me, when I look at it, Jody, is that because I'm a lefty, my selection gets a little bit smaller in the things that I can go touch. But if there is something out there, I like putters. And I don't have very many of them, but the ones I have are special to me. If I could find like the oldest left-handed putter, and we're getting past the Woodbrow era, right? We're getting into the uh, uh, it'd probably be after the Morrises and those when they had all the families had their stuff. Nobody made a left-handed putter then. It was probably going to be a late 1800s type deal. Now I know there one exists that's a new remake that it's in Scotland that I actually saw it. And if I could get one of those, that's probably where I'd end up going. Wooden shaft and it has the leather grip on it. Man, all day, all day. Robin's saying hello to a lot of people. And there's one back. Drew Brown. Oh, hey, my buddy in Wisconsin made it to Bin Shot facility and has sent me a set of EGA pint glasses. Nice. And America Rocks glasses from your video. I hope he enjoyed it. That place is it's not built for tours, to be sure. It's built to send out glasses. And but the folks there are just so nice and so good. And they treated us well. And there's one right here with the McGolf logo in it and my golf ball. There you go. Now I will say what I did for Christmas for my other guys. So for those that you don't know, I also work in the nuclear industry, and right now I'm in charge of emergency services, and so I have fire department and the incident commanders, regulatory stuff, that kind of deal. And so that's when I went up there to Bin Shot and to get these types of glasses, and I had our group's logo put on here for emergency services, and some of them had fire axes going through them, some of them had bullets going through them, and that was my Christmas gift to all the managers and supervisors this year. So hopefully that went over well with them. Take your time, have a great trip. Charlie, me and Miss McGolf have been absolutely just knocking it down. What we got, we were very fortunate to get because there's a lot of those distilleries that are closed on that week. And so, like Wild Turkey, I would have loved to have stopped into there, but another day. But the ones we got, I think we hit a home run on for sure. The hardest thing that we're trying to figure out is where to get something to eat, right? Where to get something to eat for lunch, a breakfast, that kind of thing. The other part is that now we're going to be eating at the Talbot, which is supposedly what the oldest stagecoach in that line that gets you across the country. It's the last remaining and the oldest, and it's got tremendous history. It's just crazy cool, and then we're going to stay there. That's our New Year's Eve anniversary meal is there, and the rest of it is we're kind of hoping that a couple of these distilleries have a really nice place to stop and sample and get a bite to eat or something. Ron G, what do you say, buddy? Merry Christmas the day after you're out. Yes, sir. Danny Johnson was going to get an Odyssey A1, but they come in face balanced. That is true. Groove it. I've not tried the Mini G yet, buddy. I have not. In fact, I was just using that to clean up some of the other clubs. If you guys don't remember Groove It, I've done a few videos with him. If you look down here where he's at, where the logo or emoji or whatever you want to call it would be right here. The big one, I got one hanging off my bag. Bob's got one on his bag. I use one in the shop to clean the clubs in order to take the goo off of it or the big chunks. It definitely a worthwhile endeavor. The mini one I have not tried, bud. I have not tried it. Okay. I was going to get an A1, but they don't come in the Model 7. Yeah, they do. Actually, they do. Uh, it's unfortunate. Now, this one, the maybe not the A1, where we're calling the A1. So the Odyssey in this model, right? They got the one with the white face on it. They got one with the milled face on it. Now, the one with the milled face on it is the one with the double bend that is face balanced. They do have that. I've already sold 2 of those. Now, the one with the white face, you'll be correct. They got they got the plumber's neck and they got the slant neck in for that. So that's where we want to go. And well, very cool. Yep, send one, bud. Let me see. John Cherry on the congrats on the 40th. Yep. I cook prime rib. Man. Prime rib. That's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. Now what you're going to see around here in the meat categories and the Walmarts and whatnot, you're going to see those little pieces. And you know what? With with the way that the economy is going right now, this one piece that I could have bought for 40, 50 bucks last year is now 70 bucks this year. So it's a hard sell for me, but I love prime rib on the grill. Oh geez, that stuff is awesome. Wayne Nothing, there's a new name. Welcome, buddy. Jim, for not losing your rangefinder, I have a GNU-matic wrap from Amazon. 2 earth magnets, very strong. They demonstrate my. Well, see, it's not from Wayne, so it's not so much from losing it as it's falling off, as I forget them. All right, and the very first one I had. So as this, now you open the door, Wayne. Yeah. So I had one of these earlier on, and we went to Gulf Shores, Alabama. The very, very, very first place we played. Went and used it, worked like a charm, is all good. And I walked away. It was still on the front pillar, and walked away. Got home and realized I didn't have it. Called. Of course, nobody could find this thing because it was brand new. Well, crap. So, I'm taking all kinds of guff from the family and Bob and Penny, and rightfully so. So we get another one and another one. And I was like, okay, I won't lose this one. I have learned my lesson. It's all good. And I'm back home now. And I go about a month. I go about a month. Sure enough, I leave it in the same spot, but this time I don't get out of the parking lot. And I realized, oh crap. And I went back and I said, hey, there's this number cart, this thing, and this thing. And sure enough, it's gone. Well, I realized I saw 3 guys riding my cart and on my way out, and I'm sure one of those 3 guys now have a rangefinder. Now it's like you'll never own another rangefinder as long as I live. I'm like, come on, I need a rangefinder. And they give me another one. And it's the same one Bob owns. And it was a something Eagle Eye, I think is what it was called. And it is a great rangefinder. Used it for almost a whole, well, about, I'll say half a year. We were in Pinehurst. I believe it was where we're at. I think so, Bob. Anyway, I had it on a big metal plat. I had it on a metal platen that was hooked to my golf bag so I wouldn't ever put it on the front of the golf cart. And we hit this series of really bumpy golf carts, and it flopped off somewhere and never saw it again. So that was not necessarily my fault. So this one, and I've already put the little handle on it just to make it obnoxious because I don't like these things. So that I'll have to keep reminding myself about it. And I've taken it out of its case. It's got its own little case with a magnetic flip on it, and it's got a carabiner for the case so you can hang it off your golf bag, and several batteries I mean, the thing should last forever. This time I've put all that back. I've got it sitting in a box, sitting right there, right there. And it's going to go in my rangefinder place, and that's the only place it's going to go into and come out of. So the clock is ticking right now. The clock is ticking. How long before I lose it? Hopefully it's never. Okay. And it came out great. Now the prime rib, you dude, no doubt. I love that stuff. All righty. Happy 40th. They're good. Dan says he's good either Monday. All right. Here we go. Mark Nat. All right. What are your thoughts on the LA Golf carbon putters and their claims to be the largest sweet spot? Well, I've seen them. They are cool. They look like a carbon version of Damascus. If you know what Damascus steel is, where they looks like metal that's got wood grain in it. This is carbon that's got wood grain in it. Now, I think we have to be very, very specific on the idea of sweet spot before we can go there. So the idea of a sweet spot, all right, the absolute sweet spot would be defined, in my opinion, as the center of gravity of the club. Okay, the center of gravity of the club, and it's this big right there. Center of gravity, it bounces on that much of the club. Now, how the design works around that sweet spot, all right, it makes the area around it way more forgiving. So you'll see like ellipticals in drivers, you'll see different shapes in irons, and even on putters as well. And it's more about elongating cavities and making them taller. And the putter head is slightly larger because you have to make it, because it's carbon, right? You have to put some weight in there in between, because they've got weight plates in there to drive it down. Now, I would say that their MOI is out of this roof high, and that they have it. So it's probably designed because of it. They can say that because of the design. If you make the putter bigger, the area of forgiveness around it, which most manufacturers would say is the sweet spot, not just the exact center around that, and that's by design. For instance, to make it even more simpler, if you had a bladed iron and you did this, and the area of forgiveness around it would probably be about this big. You get into a player's cavity back or a perimeter weighted club, you still have that as the center of gravity, but now it might be the size of a golf ball instead of something the size of a pea, size of a golf ball. Then you get these really big super game improvement ones where they're bigger, they're longer. See the correlation, bigger, longer, taller, and now all of a sudden that area is bigger. The area of forgiveness is more. If that's the case, then yeah, they're probably right on. Again, in any case, if you're going to go through and actually entertain the idea of this putter, I would certainly get fit first to make sure you're getting the right one. Wayne says Tuesday. We be in Orlando. We have a one-dayer. We have a 1 day window that we're only coming down for 1 day, but we're flying in, we're going to do our thing, and we're turning around flying right back out. I believe it's Thursday. Mike Delvesco, there's another new name. Mike, what do you say, dude? As a senior golfer with swing speed 85 to 90, would a strong 3-wood be too hard for me to get any benefits? Well, you know what? For a senior golfer, if you're swinging a driver at 85 to 90, you're not doing too bad, dude. That's really good. And so the strong 3-wood loft, let's talk about this one. A strong 3-wood loft. It's not necessarily so much of this loft per se as it would be the design of the head. Okay. So if we talk about 3-woods in a good modern 3-wood is literally 14 to 15 degrees. So you're about a half a degree, which really isn't going to be a big deal, to a degree and a half, which could make some change. Now, when you get into these normal clubs, they have high MOIs, they might have all their different design parameters in them, right? When you get to 13 and a half and it becomes the strong 3-wood, normally they get into what they would call player's design. And when they get into the player's design, that means that it's not nearly as forgiving. It's not nearly as big or bulky. It's actually a smaller style head. And so you can't be off center. Now, even as a senior golfer, you can be an amazing ball striker, and this thing could be a rocket sled for you. I just want to inform you that when you get into there, you want to make sure if you're going to go to this 13 and a half, that it is of a design that is very similar to what would be their stock offering, which is probably going to be way more forgiving. And is it too hard for you to get any benefit? No. If you're going to use it I think the thing would be awesome off the tee. Tee that thing low, watch it turn into, it could be quite the utility club. Again, if it has the right shaft, set the right length, all that stuff. All righty, Todd Klein, what do you say, dude? Got a new 4-wood head and shaft. Any tips for putting in a 355 iron ferrule? Whoa. What are we doing here? Any tips for putting a 355 iron ferrule on a 355 wood shaft and how to hand finish the ferrule? Ooh, well, as you can tell, there's going to be a decimal point. It's going to be sloppy, right? It's going to be sloppy. In this particular instance, I'd also be wary of whether or not your 4-wood head has a shoulder in it. If it has a shoulder in it, you're going to want to have a ferrule with a shoulder that adapts into it. And the 355 iron ferrule isn't going to cut it. Now, if you have one that doesn't require one and the top of the club head is chamfered, right, in order to get that, and you're just sticking it on, you run the risk of making it look sloppy. Can you do it? Yes, you can. You just run the risk of making it look sloppy. And you can buy a 335 ferrule for a grand total of about 50 cents. If you're really serious about making it look really nice, pay the 50 cents. But if you can't, then what I might suggest to hold it into place, and it's going to make it sound a bit offset, but if you're going to do it by hand, you can get away with it. You could probably take a very, very small amount of fishing line and shove it up in there to take up that slack so that it sits there. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to be an oval, okay? So if you have your shaft and you're going to do like this, it's going to set like that because you've just put in the fishing lines here, right? It's going to push it down and it's going to make one side stick out and the other side will be flat, all right? That's how that's going to work. Or you just put a ginormous amount of glue, and I'm not a fan of that. But you got those two options. When you get it all dry and let it dry for real, about a whole day, then what you do is you put 2 strips of tape, one on the shaft side and then one on the hosel side, and just take your time with a piece of sandpaper and just shoe shine it until it gets done. I've got a video in there on how to finish ferrules, and I talk about it with stuff you've got in the house. And you basically take your sandpaper and you get yourself a strip the width of that ferrule, and you just pull it back and forth until it gets rid of it. And then a little bit of acetone and you're good as gold. All righty. Golf Dog, good trip. Well, glad you liked it, dude. All right. What does shear point mean when epoxying a club? You have mentioned it a few times. Yes, I have. Well, so we were just talking about the 355 ferrule into a 335 club. So where the top of the ferrule and the top of the hosel and the bottom of the ferrule meet is where you would cause a shear point. Okay, a shear point. And what that is wherever club is assembled, whether it be at the bottom when you're putting a club in or at the top when you're trying to put in an extension, where those pieces meet, that through vibration, use, the bending, all that stuff, something in there is going to act like a saw and try and cut through there, and it shears off that shaft, and then your club's broken. Okay. Now, the worst time we used to have of it in the day, here's my age, see, gray hair. All right, in the day when they made hosels, hand me one of those driver heads, please. Yeah, that'll work. Perfect, thank you. So, oh man, this is just right. This is perfect. So in the day, the top of the hosel used to be straight. All right, it would be straight, and you put glue in there, and that glue would get in there, and it'd be on the ferrule would sit on the top, and all that together right there, that glue would literally act as a saw. So what you did is we had these stones that were at like 45s, and you would shove them in there, and it would cause that chamfer. Now, when you had the chamfer, that glue would sit in there, and it would act, instead of acting as a saw, it would act as a buffer. And then what you did that is, now what they have is these ferrules or these designs where they have a shoulder in here where it takes a collared ferrule and it tries to absorb that. That's what I'm talking about. All right, very cool. All right, if you want to do that, thank you. I have an assistant today. How about that? Okay, Robin talking back. John Blake, man, what's up? My wife gave me a bin shot golf ball 11-ounce glass for Christmas and a 9x7 practice net. Well, dude, that's awesome. All right. I mean, that's really cool. So now you can sit there, hit golf balls into that practice net, drink out of that. This ain't it, but and drink your favorite beverage out of that thing, and enjoy both. That's perfect. Well done. My wife and I want to go on that distillery tour. I tell you what, it is no joke, man. It's starting to get serious. There's lines. I have to give my my other brother-in-law some credit, because he's gone through and he's got the scars and the experience of going through the Buffalo Trace line and going through the Wild Turkey. And he has the most amazing luck, by the way. But the ins and outs of what to do when you go, I've almost got it in my mind that the first time that you go through that, when you go there your very first time, it may be a fail in your objective, but you'll know exactly what it is you need to do to make it not so the next time you go back. It's crazy. The stories I'm being told are almost unimaginable about the wave of humanity that goes down there to see this stuff. I'm taken back. If you like fried green tomatoes, the Talbots are excellent. Oh, I do like fried green tomatoes, dude. Really? Well, we'll have to try some of that. Monday or Tuesday? What do you say, Mr. McGolf? Which one? John Blake, Jim, put that truck cop. You're the second guy to tell me that. That's the second one. That's a good one, dude. That'd be a heck of a running bet. We could check on it each week and see what's going on. I tell you what, I'll even sweeten the deal. If you guys do this and whoever wins, I'll send them a golf towel. Hopefully I don't send them one for a whole entire year. All righty. Number of rounds. There, you guys figure it out. That's pretty cool. Drew, my rangefinder stays in that top pocket with the magnetic closure that the C-130 has. That's exactly what I'm looking at right here, man. I take it out, shoot the pin, put it right back in. This is the result of leaving mine on the pillar. There you go. Yep. You're right. You and I are the same. You and I are in the same thought bracket. Now, what I did is I thought I was going to shortcut it because another rangefinder company made this metal plate that doubled as a bottle opener and it hung from the side of the bag right next to that open place. And I just slap it on the side. And I thought, well, certainly, as long as it sits there, I'd be good to go. And it worked fine until one day we were on a very, very rough road and boink, off it goes. So there you go. Oh, we're looking at number of rounds now. What would be the recommendation for an entry-level launch monitor to do club fitting? There are a lot out there. It depends on what I would look at, dude, is it depends on what you are interested in your fitting. What are you going to use as your justifications? What information do you need in order to provide the justification for the product that you select? Okay. Some people will use just total distance and that's what it is. Okay. Some people will use quality of hit, which I do in a lot of cases. Some people will use acceleration profiles, which the Flight Scope gives. And I like Flight Scope, so get ready because I'm going to be completely biased to this side of this stuff. But so it depends. So you got to really look pretty hard because these launch monitors are getting better. Okay, they're getting really, really good. Now the idea here is how precise are they? That's the second question. Now, if you're looking for just some basic information, club speed, ball speed, path, that kind of stuff, right? The basics of it. Personally, my favorite is the Mevo Plus. It's very innocuous. It's only about this big, has a lot going on in it, and it can double as a thing if you wanted to use it as a simulator. It does very, very good. That would be my number one choice. I told you I like Flight Scope. The other one that I see doing very, very well out there right this very moment is there was a vertical one, and for the life of me, I think is it a Rapsodo? I believe it was a Rapsodo got a lot of love out there. Those would be the only two that I go with on a basic. Now there are other ones out there. You'll hear guys talk about OptiShot and SkyTrack and all these other ones, and they're great for what they do, but they don't. I think you need to capture the ball. All right, you need to capture the ball. You need to capture the club. I don't know if those other ones do that. I know one only captures the club. I'm pretty sure SkyTrack only captures the club as well. And once you have those two pieces of information, a lot will open up to you. Okay. Once you get better, then you have your choice. You have the X3. You'll have the oh my goodness gracious! I just drew a blank. You have the one that everybody likes on YouTube, and then there's the one that's just like the Flight Scope Pro something or another. Anyway, those are the three top dogs that you want to deal with. John Lamb, Mike DeVesco, if you're using it as a driver, it would help with launch, dispersion, possibly even distance. Hard off the deck to get airborne. Need a little bit of speed. To an extent, it just depends on his angle of attack too. That's the reason why I kind of left that one alone. Ha 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 ha. 3 rounds. Dude, oh, come on, Charlie. Give me a little bit more credit than that. I have one in my bag, 13 and a half. Ball comes off like a rocket, either off the deck or the tee. I'm 70 with a 96 club head speed. You will love Callaway's Triple Diamond. The Titleist TSR is top of the list. There you go. 96 is actually kind of significant when you're talking between 85 and 90, but the same idea applies. Charlie's got me Krister's got me a 5. Come on, guys, give me a little bit of credit. 5 rounds? That's not even that's just a little over a month. If it won in a week. Oh man. You got it now. It's a challenge. All right. Todd's got a colored ferrule. Was thinking of using. I do have a bunch of the black. Todd, honestly, the colored ferrules are cool, but for fit, finish, and the way it should work, I just go with the black. It can be a classic if it's finished off well, got the nice shine to it, a lot of protection. It'll be a much better look in the long run. Hit those thumbs up, please. Since Charlie led me into it again, hey, like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up down there if you would, please. Just so that YouTube knows that we're here and that when it gets sent to them, that maybe they'll put it up to everybody else. Thanks, Charlie. Jason, how you doing, buddy? Late to the party, but had a great Christmas. My kids finally listened and bought me 3 dozen of my favorite golf balls. Now I'm set for the next season. Dude, 3 dozen golf balls set for the next season. You are the man. Most people would think that they got 3 dozen, they're set for the first quarter of the year. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. So do we. All right, Faz, 889. Thanks for the kind of got me worried. Oh, many thanks. Kind of got me worried. I've done epoxying 3 shafts in my wedges an hour ago, and there was a shoulder in the hosel. I didn't use a collar ferrule. Am I in trouble? So, I'm done 3 shafts into my wedges an hour ago. There was a shoulder in the hosel, but I didn't use a collared ferrule. So if you use steel shafts, probably not. All right, steel's pretty tough, and wedge shafts are made to take some abuse, right? Specifically, if you had a specific wedge shaft. Now, if you got it in a graphite one, is it going to happen overnight? No, it is not. It's not. But I would much rather you used a ferruled or a collared ferrule just to get that. Now, if it's filled with the epoxy and you got a nice even fit, dude, it could. So these things could go its entire lifetime and never worry about it. But it could also happen in the span of one season if you're playing a lot of golf. So it just depends. But I mean, if you're using steel, go with it. Have some fun with it and see what happens. All righty. Phil K. Santa sent me reverse sear a prime rib three rib roast. Highly recommend that method. Oh, there you go. That was nummy. Okay. All righty. So look at that. With Phil K, we got down to the very end and only 6 minutes over. Normally we go a little bit longer, but that's fine. So again, guys, like and subscribe if you would. I appreciate it very, very much. Keep an eye out. It'll be kind of a year in review video that will show up. And then when we come back, we'll talk about where we went and how we did it. And we'll put that out there for folks to see. I know it's not a golfy thing, but hey, let's have a little fun with it. Okay, guys. So again, Merry Christmas. I appreciate everything you guys have been on here with me, taking this time to share what you guys got. That's impressive as all get out. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and again to Mrs. McGolf, thank you for 40 wonderful years. And let's see your scores. Go low.